Welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Priority Auto Sports Radio 94.1. It's brought to you each and every week by Larry King Law. You call 757-INJURED for Larry King. With the coach, Ed Young, I am Matt Hatfield. We thank Hampton Lady Crabbers coach Sean DeBailey for popping on after her team state championship victory. Got a couple more teams from the 757 going for gold, going for hardware coming up top of the hour. It is Princess Anne's Lady Cavaliers taking on LC Bird. Watch it with us on the call on the NFHS network, as well as Woodside's boys basketball program. The Wolverines in the Class 5 title game taking on the Patriots of Patrick Henry High in Roanoke. Also on the NFHS network, you'll hear from Stephon Welsh later on in the program as well. But Ed, we go to our Friday recap from the state championship games, and that meant Class 3 girls and boys, as well as Class 6 girls and boys in Carroll County. The Carroll of the County. Wasn't that a Kenny Rogers song? I thought it was. Maybe I'm getting that mixed up or messed up. Isn't that a Kenny Rogers tune? Someone looked it up for us and tell us.
Nah, yeah, you're messing that up. It was a Kenny Rogers song, but I don't think it was Carroll County.
It was the Coward of the County, wasn't it? I messed that up.
Yeah, I think it was Coward. Yeah,
it's the Carroll of the County. The Carroll County Cavaliers repeated as state champs in Class 3. Remember, they put up like 106 points in the state quarters a year ago? Well, this team was mighty, mighty good. 78-41. You had the distinct privilege of calling this game on the NFHS network with Tim Blank. And 25-18 first quarter. Brentsville gave them a good go. Brentsville, the team that knocked out the Lakeland girls in the state quarters after losing to them a year ago in the state playoffs. But the second period was all she wrote for Brentsville. 21-2 edge. And what's fascinating to me about Carroll County, which a lot of our loyal listeners in Tidewater might not care, but around the state that follow things closely and listen to us, watch what we say, and read things on VirginiaPreps.com, those out in Hillsville will tell you this team is special because not only do they have a couple of the top all-state players in Class 3 leading the way, Alyssa Irvin being one of them, but their third option, and she is spectacular, by the way, 8 Division I offers. She's put up 38, I think, in a state playoff game, 29 and 8 in this game with 8 steals, almost a triple-double. But their third leading scorer is Jalen Hagee, who had 19.7 rebounds, and she went over 1,000 points for her career in this win. Is that not crazy?
Yeah, you kind of think that's in a regular season situation, but then again, you got playoff games, and the more playoff games you go, more opportunity you have to go get that 1,000. It's still a big milestone in high school basketball because you don't play your freshman year, let's say. Most freshmen are on JV. Sophomore, you could make varsity. All right, to score 1,000 points in 3 years, you're going to go what? 333 points, and then one of the years, 334, just get 1,000. It's a lot of points.
Look at you, mathematician. Do we appreciate greatness enough? I know Brentsville had a rough one in this one, had a good year, a lot to be proud of with Aiden Yergi leading the way. I think she's going to Siena, if I'm not mistaken. But Carroll County won its playoff games by 39 points per game. We're going to see a dominant team on the boys' side later on today in John Marshall, who's undefeated, ranked number 1 in America. In America, Coach? Yes, in America. Plus the Lancaster boys, who we talked about earlier from our Thursday recap, they won every game by double digits. We know how great Darnell Dozier's Lady Cavs of PA, but do people fully appreciate greatness in a team like Carroll County that wins playoff games by 39 points per game and just pretty much thrashes its competition, including a Spotswood girls team that's got 5 or 6 state titles in the trophy case, and Coach Dodson there? I mean, look, there are some teams you have to go through. It's not a cakewalk here, but they make it look like a cakewalk.
Well, again, there's just tremendous teams throughout the state. We're not privy to everybody all the time. Of course, if anybody is, you keep up to date with it better than anybody else for Virginia Preps. But this game here, Carroll County impressed me tremendously. I think as good as any girls team I've seen all year, including the big-time girls squads. A lot of scoring, a lot of spread-out scoring, pretty good, really good defense. They use it, their inside game. The game was hard to broadcast. I'll say it now because it's done. I'll say it now because we may not have a lot of them, because it was a rout. I mean, it was, what was it, 25-18? It was 46-20 at halftime. But I'll give the young Brentsville girls, they hung in there. And there's some real key girls on that team that are freshmen, sophomores on that one. Peyton Brown, the youngster for Brentsville, 11 points. She had 9, hit 3 threes in the first quarter. So that's a team that's going to be heard of again.
No need to dwell on that one too much. Let's go to a game that was exciting, and it wasn't looking that way. It looked like it was going to be a blowout when Northside took on Hope, a rematch from 7 years ago in a state semis, a game I got to call with one of our partners, Andy Hayes, on the NFHS network. Hopewell won that one in overtime. A couple of veteran coaches that have won state titles before. Billy Pope trying to get win number 620. Elvin Edmonds III, who won a state title during the COVID-shortened year with his son Elvin Edmonds IV, now at Bucknell when they beat Abingdon in the Class 3 final. Well, Hopewell was in trouble, down 25-8 after one quarter of play. I know you were thoroughly impressed with Coach Pope's Vikings shooting over 78% from the floor in the first period, but as great as they were in the first, third quarter was mighty yucky, and all of a sudden Hopewell went from down 17 to ahead by 4 in the fourth quarter. We had a ball game, but Northside got the last laugh, the final flurry, if you will, winning it 58-52, and the game-tying corner three by sub Kai Logan was the difference. And how about from 7 years ago when their bench was outscored 48-8 by Hopewell? The bench was pretty even here, and they got production from so many different guys, including a couple of sophomores that people are going to love, and Michael Harvey and Cy Hardy to go with that senior leader in Lawrence Cole, who dropped 20 in the win.
Yeah, Northside just come like a wave at Hopewell, scoring fairly decent. First quarter, almost 79% from the floor, including 50 from the three-point line. Well, Hopewell struggled at 33% also from the three-point line, and they got end of the game shooting 47%, and Northside actually ended the game shooting 44%. So they went from 78 down to 44. But again, they did some other things that Surratt got this game for them.
Well, you watched Hopewell at the Scope against Lake Taylor in the Region 3A Championship. I was going in Pensacola on my ODU trip, I believe it was, or I was in Myrtle Beach at the time. I forget where I was in all my travels doing the play-by-play for the ladies of Old Dominion. But one of the things Hopewell's so good at is turning people over. Well, Northside was able to turn Hopewell over 22 times. 4 different starters had 4 turnovers for the Blue Devils, and they turned that into 21 points off the turnovers. Also cashed in with fast break points with 19 of them. And really, down the stretch, the execution, the press break, the way they share the ball, the efficiency they operate with as a Class 3 program that closes out the year at 29-1, mighty, mighty good and mighty, mighty strong, and they can contend with schools at higher classification levels. And I think their schedule, playing some teams, you think of those high-pressure teams being Tidewater and Richmond teams from the 757 and 804, but Northside, if you haven't watched them play before, they're so well-schooled and disciplined, and you see why they win so many games under Coach Pope.
Well, Billy Pope been around long enough to get over 600 wins himself, and I think now 3 state titles.
2 state titles. This is his second.
State titles. He got the gym named after him. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing on the sideline now. He's just got to make sure that his kids transfer from his mindset to their mindset and go ahead and get it done. But you're right, 3-headed monster for this team in terms of scoring. Lawrence Cole, Cy Hardy, and Mikel Harvey all over double figures. Now, it was just them 3 scoring, and one of the youngsters off the bench, Kai Logan, had a big-time 3 that we think that we all both said that we think Northside got spurred by that 3-pointer. Those are the only guys who scored in the whole game for Northside, but they got enough scoring.
Yeah, they figured to be back, as should Hopewell, with Cameron Mize dropping 24 points in defeat. I know a lot of the Hopewell fans were disappointed by the finish, but they battled back after getting behind, and just Northside's execution was a little too much in the crunch. Maybe the game of the tournament, Ed, it was going to have an overtime game. You called it correctly. There would be one. I picked it in overtime for Manchester to win with former ODU player Rasheed Wright coaching the Lancers. They come up short, though, in the OT to the Warhawks, 49-46. I know you love Mia Woolfolk's game for Manchester, 16 points, 9 rebounds. Rain Wright had 16 points, 404 from 3 with 8 rebounds. But Madison, without a real signature player, granted, Kayla Dixon drops 20 points in this game. They're able to recover. They had a 10-point lead, 12-2. It was a defensive battle. They're able to recover from a 7-point deficit of 43-36 with 4:22 to go and win the championship. We talk about the GOAT. Is Tom Brady the GOAT? Is Michael Jordan the GOAT? Is LeBron James the GOAT? Is Darnell Dozier the GOAT? What about Kirsten Stone at Madison? She's the GOAT. She graduates 8 seniors off a 3-peat team, and somehow, some way, without a whole lot of offensive scoring punch and juice, she wins another state championship against a team that looked more athletic, bigger, and dare I say faster than her squad. Job well done.
Yeah, that was a situation, too, when we look at the scoring that they showed from all over the floor for these young ladies in terms of coming out. I like for who was it on Manchester, the two Rain Wright and the big girl inside, Mia Wolf. Those two girls I love to death out there, and I thought maybe they could pull this out, but obviously the other team had much more firepower throughout their squad.
And Madison winning it on a old-fashioned three-point play at the end by Stella Gagoufakis. Can you pronounce that?
No, you take care of the names. I just call them by the first name. They know who they are, and that works. And a kid that really, young lady that I really like for
Madison Sarah Link.
Sarah Link. I just think she did a tremendous job defending inside, scoring inside, stepping out, running the offense. They ran the offense a lot through her, stepping out in a high post, kind of like the old point forward guard, whatever you want to call it. I just think they did a great job running their offense.
You know why Madison won, right?
Why is that?
Stella got her groove back.
Groove on.
Groove on, not groove back?
Yeah, Stella got her groove on.
All right, we'll move ahead here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on Priority Auto Sports Radio 94.1 to the final game of Friday night. Class 6 championship that we were all looking forward to. In some ways, not to disparage the young kids and the coaches, everyone, it was underwhelming in terms of excitement, entertainment, because the first time they played back on December 1st, reigning state champ Hayfield, which was on a 40-game win streak earlier this season, won it 75-73 over Patriot on a Donovan Bass Briscoe runner. I watched it on the NFHS network from my home in my man cave and loved every second of it. It was not a high-scoring affair. 52-41, the Hawks win it to repeat, and they run their winning streak over Virginia foes to 59. They lost earlier this season to Jackson Reed out of Washington, D.C., but just a combined 2 made three-pointers. They were a total 2 of 19 from deep. Both shot under 35% from the floor. Not so pretty and glamorous at times, but the Hawks won with defense and found a way, led by that senior trio of Greg Jones, David King, and DJ Holloway, to get it done for Carlos Poindexter's team to go back-to-back and a belly-to-belly.
Yeah, this game having a lot of hype to it because it's 6A. 6A still kind of gets a lot of the attention. It's the bigger enrollment schools. Not to take anything from the 1A, 2A, 3A people, but had all the makings of a great battle. You saw the one where it was a 2-point game right at the beginning of the season, and I kind of thought this game would be no less, both in the 60s. Did not expect them to shoot as poorly as you did, as you referenced, in the 30s for both teams. When both these teams were shooting as team 50%, which you don't see much. But you didn't see that in this game, and you saw 3-point shooting. How about this stat? 2 for 19. They combined 2 for 19.
Not that great at all. And, of course, one of our locals and loyal listeners from the 757, I think his uncle's Michael Vick. His dad is Dwight Vick, who's come on our show before, former Virginia Tech Hokie and Hampton Crabber. Isaiah Vick battled foul trouble for the Patriots, just 4 points, 4 rebounds for him. But more than that, their point guard, Nasir Coleman, who's been really steady, all-state first team a year ago, 12 points, 3 assists, no made threes, and 7 turnovers as the Pioneers hit their first 3, I think, in the game, and then they missed the next 11, and the Hawks get it done 52-41. They're the last team in Virginia to beat John Marshall. How about that?
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if they carry that streak, how far they can carry it next year. Got some decent kids back. But how about David King for Hayfield? Inside, double-double, had 10 points. 14 points, 10 rebounds, 6 for 7 from the free throw line. That youngster got a lot of things done for him. And he was, again, somebody I didn't think would stand out in that game, but he did.
Yeah, he was the footwork master. He was fabulous down the stretch, as was Donovan Bass Briscoe in the open court. We're going to take a timeout. We got Saturday games to preview with you. Also hear from Stefan Welsh of the Woodside Wolverines. And in our final segment, Jack Castleberry, assistant coach from Fairleigh Dickinson, who's going dancing NCAA tournament style. He from Virginia Beach out of Cape Henry Collegiate. It's all coming your way on your local sports connection, high school, college, pro. We give it all to you each and every Saturday on 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by Larry King Law. On what station is it, Ed?
Priority Sports Radio 94.1.